imagine your teacher handed you out the biggest school project ever. You're like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. But deep down inside, you know you're not fully capable of doing the full job from A to Z. Internally, you're screaming because there's no way you can finish it all. Essentially, that's subcontracting. It's a fancier word of saying getting help so you don't lose your mind. So, what is subcontracting? Simple. You get a contract, you can't do it all by yourself, you split in the tasks, you pay them. But let's break it down from A to Z. So, step one in subcontracting, the teacher passing you the lead of the project, telling you, here's the project, I want this, give me this, which is the government or a big company begs you to do something for them, like build a road, design a software, supply office chairs, let's say, whatever the contract is. And as much as you would want to do it all, sometimes you're just not capable of, and it's not the smart option to do it all by yourself. So now, finding subcontractors. That's when you got the job, and now you want to choose and determine what parts of the job you want to pass on to other kids in school. So you grab the smartest classmates, or the most efficient ones, whatever the job is. One kid paints the roads, which you know that a student is the best painter, so you take him to paint the roads. The other one builds the houses. The other one adds the trees. I'm just writing this example back to the school example that I linked earlier, but in real life, a construction company can subcontract plumbers, electricians, painters. A tech company can subcontract graphic designers, cybersecurity teams, AI developers. Microsoft can subcontract smaller companies to do smaller jobs, so the software engineers at Microsoft don't have to waste their times with this. Boeing, the airplane company, can subcontract a company to do their internal wiring, so they don't have to do that themselves. The rule here is that you don't want to forget that you're the boss, you're the prime contractor per se, but they do parts of the work, which we call them the subcontractors, essentially. And this is how you're making sure you're working smarter, not harder. Now that the job is done, it's time to pay up. So back to the school example, the teacher gave you $100 for the project. You split it between the kids. The one that did the painting, $30. The one that did the housing, $20. The one for the decorator, $10. So you ended up spending $60, but you kept $40. And how much did you do of that job? And you got paid for managing the project and making sure you selected the right partners to do this project. So if the government passed you on $10 million for the job, you kept $4 and you spent $6 on subcontracting. So that's how you make money off that job. So the tricky part here is that you're still the contractor, you're still the prime contractor. It's your responsibility how this contract performs. So you want to make sure these subcontractors are making a great job in what you hired them to do. If they mess up, you're responsible here. So why is it worth it to take on that responsibility? Why shouldn't you do it yourself? And here's what I'm saying. Too much work, get help. Don't know how to do something? Hire an expert. Faster, more efficient, less stress, 100% guaranteed. So the government actually requires prime contractors sometimes to do business with smaller contractors to make sure this contract is being subcontracted, so the prime is not doing the whole job themselves. Here's an example. If a company wins 50 million government contracts, the government might say, hey, you have to give 30% of that to small businesses. So they bring in subcontractors, helping small businesses grow, and also the government gets what it needs to be done, and the prime contractors is making enough money. So how do you get a subcontracting job? So this is for small businesses if you want to be a subcontractor. So you want to find big contracts. So you use sam.gov and find government contracts yourself. You can check who got awarded with these contracts, check who won these contracts, and then reach out to them and offer your services. The second thing, which I always encourage and advise on, is networking with primes and / networking in general. Go to company events, go to procurement events, shoot them an email. Hey, I see you on this contract. Do you need a subcontractor? Here are my offers. This is my proposal to you. Don't be shy to just straight up send a proposal. If you end up getting a job, that's kind of your testing phase. So the prime is testing you to see how good of a job you are, to see how good of a job you do. And if you do a good job, you will be their number one to call with their next prime contract. And if you're a small business, this is actually a great way for you to end up becoming a prime contract at some point. Once you experience working as a subcontractor, you'll have enough experience to move on and then subcontract for other smaller businesses. So what if you're a prime and you want to find subcontractors? Essentially, you can just look up businesses around the area of the contract and call each one of them and get a quote. And you can also have easier access to them with like tools like SamSearch, for example. I just looked up wiring because I mentioned the Boeing wiring earlier, and you can click on a contract and scroll down. So over here you see the awarded contracts. So you see awarded contracts in the past, and then you can reach out to them, see who they subcontracted. And you, if you're a small business, also, I forgot to mention this, but you can reach out to these contracts and offer them your services. But you can also go on the subcontractors feature here and find subcontractors in the area that are recommended by AI for this job. You see their rating, their services, and their phone numbers. Once you click on it, it'll also take you to their Yelp page. So that's just a more efficient, faster way to find subcontractors, but you can always just use Yelp or Google or some sort of other services that you want to do. The best thing here to do is email them. Hey, I need a quote. I have this contract and I want someone's to do a job for me. How long? How are you gonna do it? And what is your pricing? It's very straightforward, very easy to explain, or maybe I'm just so good at explaining it. But essentially, to sum it all up for you, subcontracting is winning a big job, getting help, paying fairly, and keeping everything on track. If you're a small business, this is one of the best ways to get into the government contracting world as well. Drop a comment if you want to learn more or if you have any other questions, and happy bidding.